The last thing I want to say, I guess, which is not really related, but it's something that I've heard people say this week and in the past, that is this, that they don't feel that they're genderqueer enough, or, I mean, specifically this week, people saying they're not genderqueer enough for this channel, and that really kind of bothers me when people say that, because I don't think that I think that the term in itself is such a ambiguous term that really people can claim it for any number of reasons. I just don't think that there is such a thing as being genderqueer enough to be able to claim that term. I think that anybody who feels that that applies to them should feel comfortable to describe themselves in that way, and that it becomes a problem when we think about these labels in a very strict way, that that we really strictly categorize and label people, because life isn't like that, and people aren't really like that. People are more fluid than that, and terms are more fluid than that, and I don't think there should be set definitions to these labels that exclude people who if you feel a tie to that term for any reason, then sure, use it. If it's useful to you to describe yourself as genderqueer, for whatever reason, then sure, go for it. And as someone who, I really do think of myself as genderqueer, and so I don't know what authority I have to say that, but I'm just saying, that I would never, as a genderqueer person, say that someone is not genderqueer enough to use the same term to describe themselves that I'm using to describe myself. I just think that's a little unnecessary. So I hope that nobody really ever genuinely, says to themselves, well, maybe I'm not genderqueer enough, or maybe I'm not trans enough to participate in these conversations. And I don't think there's such a thing as being more genderqueer than another, more or less genderqueer than another person. I don't think it works that way. I think that the term genderqueer just means, the way that I think of it, is just not easily definable, a gender that's not easily definable, or a gender that is not what is considered normative, does not fit easily into the categories of male or female, and that kind of a term, it's not like someone is taller than someone else. That's an easy thing to measure. I don't think that the term genderqueer is a term that functions that way. I think it's just broader than that, and more ambiguous than that, and more flexible than that. So I hope that people will embrace it as a self-descriptive term if that's who they feel they are, and not worry about, I think that you shouldn't worry about whether other people are going to challenge the way that you identify, because if they do, then that they're, who the hell cares what they think? That's ridiculous, So that's meant to be a word of encouragement. I don't know if that came across that way.